Well, welcome in, my friends. The week between Christmas and New Year's, oh, so magical as it is. I always like to look back, on the previous year, check in, see what we thought of things. One of the things, obviously, that stands out in our industry is the shortage, no doubt. It's driven people in a different direction, right? Most people now have really focused on growth and process and people, and all of that is wonderful. One of the downsides, I think, that we're seeing from it, though, is the idea of, the excessive overcharge, whether that's over MSRP or a market value that is just so outrageous. You go above and beyond to price the vehicle because you know you can get it, which, again, no fault of anyone who's getting it. Please don't misunderstand me for someone who's taking away from that. But what I have a problem with in it is it leads me to an ecosystem problem that ultimately in 3 years, there is little hope, assuming things return, which there are those who think this is the new normal. This is what we will do for the rest of our lives. This is how we will sell cars. We'll have low-end demand. I don't necessarily buy that unless these OEMs plan to restructure their businesses, overhaul them. I mean, literally, with the number of staff, people, all of it. If this is the new normal, then a lot of that has to change along the way. So I, for right now, I believe that it will correct itself back in some way to what we've been used to from a production standpoint. And if not a production standpoint, if prices stay where they are, sooner or later, the consumer, appetite will fall, as it has in years past when things like this happen. Catastrophe, in this case, isn't really a catastrophe. It's an ongoing issue. But all the same. That leads me sort of into the next part, which is more about digital retail. Obviously, people believe that it has taken off in leaps and bounds. I still believe it's a product customers haven't really asked for and not necessarily looking for. Yes, I realize the numbers have, some movement. We've talked about how if it went from 2% to 4%, that is still double. That is still a big thing. But I don't think it's there. And I think the more people bring in Meta and all this universe weirdness, weird to me, that I think it's only going to prolong this idea of digital retail catching on with the average consumer, because I don't believe the average consumer really understands anything about this particular forefront digital world that people are moving into. So I caution dealers getting too deep into that you're appealing to a customer base that might not match your own customer base. So I think it's important that you look into that. One of the biggest things I think that happened for us this year at CarBiz is the embracing of the Mental Health Monday. We started the year off actually with my therapist, Jessica, and it sort of snowballed into more people wanting to be involved and be on the show. And it was really incredible. Stephen Whitten from the UK, what he's doing with Men Able is unbelievable. And that stuff really came into every discussion I started to see this year had a little bit of that in there. And everybody was talking about it. Everybody is still talking about it. And we're talking about how we need more of it. And so we plan to do as much or more, if possible, in that space moving forward for the new year. I think it's extremely important. I'm not someone who does the whole New Year's resolution thing. So I will tell you that I will do my best to do more of that content and work more with folks in that world. The other big thing, and the reason I talk about it, obviously, we just did CarBiz Chronicles Season 4 on it, but culture is such a huge part of what I believe is the only way to distinguish yourself anymore as a car dealer, especially if we do go to this, sort of lifetime order system. Pick your car, deliver your car, not a lot of negotiation, more of a customer service situation, right? As it should be. If that's the case, then I think we're okay. I really do. I think looking back at things to say, hey, how can we do more, be better in this space? That's what's going to attract great talent. I think schedules is a big part of that. I think you've seen that. The push to get people back into offices probably is the wrong push. You should think about downsizing your offices. You should let people see if they can continue to have the life that they have while you still are getting the same results or better. I think taking those chances makes a lot of sense. And that's in any part of the culture. So I think the culture discussion is certainly a big part of what we do. Also, as I look back, I got to tell you this year, as most years, but this year, we have just a tremendous amount of great guests touching on completely different topics across the board, right? So you have April Simmons. She comes on. She tells you about what it's like to be a BDC marketing director for multiple stores, but how she always finds time to help, coach, and work with people, right? That episode to me was a lot of fun because she's really someone who embodies what card people should be today, which is wearing their heart on their sleeve, but being as positive as possible, but also a realist. So again, you didn't get a chance to check into that. You should definitely do it. I tried some different things this year too on the show, which were interesting. We did something as a kind of a live event, if you will, not really as live as I get. There was a topic came up on a Wednesday with Brian Kramer, Sandy, and we went ahead and recorded an episode about it on a Thursday. It was a lot of fun. Those guys are just two absolute pros in the world. So if you don't check those guys out, you should be, please. They are really, really, really great. But most importantly, like I said, it was for us, it was really the focus on trying a couple of different things throughout the year, seeing what works. And I think that's for our dealers as well. I think in the data world, there's a lot of push right now to get into G4 Analytics. Those of you not familiar, that's the next version of Google Analytics. And we've been in G4 since they launched it. We've put it on sites. We look at it. It's a different way of looking at data. Funny enough, it's the way we've always looked at data. So you can, it's not like anything really is changing people. They're just changing how they show it to you, basically. So in GA, it's presented one way, and G4 it's presented another way, where they slash out some of the things they think are meaningless that most of us have always thought were meaningless. And so there's a change going on there. I think there's some misinformation out there, which there's a lot of that going on these days. This misinformation is the fact that Google Analytics will not be phased out anytime soon. So those of you who don't have your historical data, go back and get it. So in case something happens faster than it's expected, you have it. All of our clients can rest easy at night knowing they have it all, because that's what we've been doing since day one, is kind of cataloging that data, because you knew a change would come sooner or later. That is how they work at Google. It's continuous trying to be better situation as they put it in the marketing space. So that's been an interesting watch. If you haven't done it, please go check it out, check into it. So I'd like to thank everyone who joined the show this year as a guest. Trey Hudson, Joe Ruggieri, many, many more. There's many more. You guys have just been phenomenal. I joke every time you guys say yes, I smile, because I never know if people will or not. But I really appreciate it. Card-Based Chronicles Season 4 guest, absolutely phenomenal throughout, start to finish. What a fun season that was. I seem to have more and more fun with that. Maybe in the future we can get back out to doing them in person. All right. Thank you so much. Go out, have yourselves a happy, safe New Year's, and we will see you again to start 22. Thanks a lot.